The hero wakes up every morning with one goal: win. They don't just want success, they need it, preferably with a dramatic soundtrack playing in the background. They see life as a battle, and they're the main character, fighting against laziness, mediocrity, and anyone who doubts them. Their biggest desire? Proving their worth. They need challenges, goals, and obstacles to overcome. If life is too easy, they'll make it harder just to feel alive. Their worst fear? Failure. Nothing terrifies them more than looking weak, incompetent, or, God forbid, losing. You'll recognize them because they're the ones at the gym at 5 a.m., posting motivational quotes about grinding while you sleep. They treat everything like a competition: work, dating, even casual game nights. If you ever beat them at something, they'll say, "Best 2 out of 3. At their best, they're inspiring, disciplined, and actually get things done. At their worst, they're exhausting. They'll push themselves into burnout, drag others into unnecessary battles, and turn a friendly dinner into a debate about who would survive a zombie apocalypse." The Jester. The Jester's main mission in life? Don't take things too seriously, and maybe get you to lighten up while they're at it. They're the class clown, the office smartass, the friend who shows up to your serious dinner in a costume just to mess with you. They don't do it for attention. Oh, okay, sometimes. But mostly, they just think life is too short to be boring. They're sharp, quick-witted, and know exactly how to cut tension with one perfectly timed one-liner. You'll find them in entertainment, marketing, comedy, or any job where personality actually matters more than a resume. Their biggest desire? To live in the moment and enjoy life. Their biggest fear? Being irrelevant, or stuck in a world that takes itself too seriously. You force them into a stuffy environment with no humor, and they'll either implode or start trolling just to stay sane. At their best, they're energizing, fun, and remind everyone not to take things too personally. At their worst, they deflect everything with jokes, avoid real emotions, and struggle to be taken seriously when it actually counts. Still, every group needs one person who can make a funeral slightly less unbearable. That's them. The Explorer. Commitment issues? No, just adventure priorities. The Explorer lives for freedom, change, and the thrill of the unknown. The second things start feeling too routine, they're already scanning Google Maps like it's a dating app. They're not trying to escape life, they're trying to find more of it. More experiences, more perspectives, more weird food from places you can't pronounce. Settling down feels like death. So does working a 9 to 5 in a beige cubicle with a break room that smells like burnt popcorn. You'll find explorers as travel bloggers, photographers, outdoor guides, digital nomads. Any job where the Wi-Fi is unstable and the views are great. If they're stuck in a traditional job, they'll either be plotting their escape or mysteriously working remotely from 3 countries over. What drives them? Discovery. What scares them? Feeling trapped. They need room to roam, physically and mentally. Structure suffocates them. Stability is fine as long as it's optional. At their best, they're bold, inspiring, and open-minded. At their worst, they're flaky, restless, and allergic to consistency. Just don't ask them where they'll see themselves in 5 years. They barely know where they'll be next week. The Caregiver. The caregiver exists for one reason: to take care of everyone else. They're the ones bringing soup when you're sick, giving you life advice you didn't ask for, and making sure nobody in the group chat feels left out. They don't just want to help, they need to, or they feel useless. Their biggest desire? To be needed. If they're not taking care of someone, they start questioning their entire existence. Their worst fear? Being seen as selfish. The idea of putting themselves first physically pains them, so they'll run themselves into the ground to make sure everyone else is okay. You'll recognize them because they're the ones who always check in, even when nobody checks in on them. They give the best advice, but never follow it. They apologize when someone bumps into them. They say, "No worries," even when they're absolutely worrying. At their best, they're kind, selfless, and make the world less of a nightmare. At their worst, they let people walk all over them and burn out trying to save others. You'll often find them as nurses, teachers, social workers, or that one friend who somehow ends up being everyone's unpaid therapist. The rebel. The rebel wasn't born to follow rules. They were born to break them, burn the handbook, and ask why in the hell there was a handbook in the first place. They see the system, and their first instinct is, let's blow it up. They're fueled by disruption. That doesn't mean they're always angry, just allergic to blind obedience. You'll find them leading protests, launching bold startups, making controversial art, or getting banned from forums for tone violations. If there's a norm, they're questioning it. If there's authority, they're challenging it. They're not in it just to be edgy. Rebels are often reacting to real injustice, real frustration. Their biggest desire? Revolution. Not necessarily with pitchforks, but they want to tear down what they think is broken and replace it with something better. Or at least that's how they see it. Biggest fear? Powerlessness. Nothing makes a rebel unravel faster than feeling like they're being controlled, silenced, or ignored. They'd rather fail on their own terms than succeed while following someone else's rules. At their best, they're bold, brave, and necessary. At their worst, they're reckless, self-destructive, or stuck in a permanent phase of nobody gets me. But whether they're right or wrong, you'll damn sure hear them. The everyman. The everyman just wants to blend in, get along, and not cause any trouble. They're not here to be the hero, the villain, or even the comic relief. They just want to exist in peace, preferably with a stable job and a reliable sedan. Their biggest desire? Belonging. They want to be accepted, feel included, and not stand out too much. Their worst fear? Rejection. They don't want to be left out, looked down on, or seen as different. These are the people who say, I just go with the flow. But the flow is usually just whatever the majority is doing. You'll recognize them because they're the ones nodding along in meetings without actually saying anything. They watch whatever's trending, wear whatever's safe, and will never, under any circumstances, send food back at a restaurant. Their conflict resolution strategy? Awkward laughter and changing the subject. At their best, they're dependable, relatable, and keep things running smoothly. At their worst, they have zero opinions of their own and will side with whoever is loudest. They're not here to make history. They just want a cold beer, a decent paycheck, and not get yelled at. The sage. Ask a sage a simple question and you're getting a TED Talk. Not because they're trying to show off, they just actually know things. This is the person who reads obscure philosophy books for fun, corrects documentaries mid-play, and casually references ancient civilizations in small talk. Sages aren't driven by fame or fortune. They want truth. Understanding how the world works is their version of adrenaline. They're the human version of a Wikipedia rabbit hole, minus the weird editing wars. You'll find them as professors, analysts, researchers, advisors, any role where they can think deeply and not be interrupted by team-building exercises. Group brainstorming? Nightmare fuel. They'd rather sit alone, surrounded by 5 open tabs and a cup of black coffee that's been microwaved 3 times. Their biggest desire? Knowledge. Their biggest fear? Ignorance, especially their own. They don't need to be the smartest in the room, but they'll definitely fact-check the one who thinks they are. At their best, they're insightful, wise, and make you think deeper. At their worst, they're detached, condescending, and incapable of just letting you enjoy a dumb action movie without pointing out plot holes. The lover. The lover is all about connection, not surface-level small talk. They want the real stuff. They get attached fast, feel things deeply, and if they care about you, you'll know it. They're the type who remembers your favorite drink, your weird childhood fear, and that one random thing you said a year ago. You'll find them in roles where emotions matter. Actors, writers, designers, therapists, or just that one friend who makes every hangout feel like a therapy session with candles. What they want more than anything? To feel close to someone or something. Doesn't have to be romantic. They can fall just as hard for a song, a city, or a hobby. What they hate? feeling ignored. If they sense they don't matter to you, they'll spiral, quietly or dramatically, depending on the day. At their best, they make you feel seen. They're loyal, expressive, and fully present. At their worst, they get needy, lose themselves in other people, and base their worth on whether someone texts back. They don't just want love. They want all of it. The highs, the lows, the late-night conversations, and yes, the matching Spotify playlists. The magician. The magician isn't loud, flashy, or trying to be the center of attention, but somehow they always end up being the one everyone quietly listens to. They've got this weird ability to walk into chaos, say 3 things, and suddenly the room feels like there's a plan again. They're obsessed with how things work. Systems, people, outcomes. Not in a nerdy spreadsheet way, but in a how can I take this mess and make something great out of it way. You'll find them behind the scenes in tech, branding, psychology, high-level strategy. They're not running around screaming, "I'm a visionary." They're just out here being one. Their goal? Change. Not small tweaks, real deep transformation. They like turning problems into breakthroughs. Their fear? Being tricked or misled. The magician needs to feel like they see through the illusion, not the other way around. At their best, they're game changers. At their worst, they're manipulative as hell. Because once you understand how people and systems work, it's a short hop from "I can fix this" to "I can control this." The innocent. The innocent is that person who genuinely believes the world is a nice place. People are fundamentally good, and bad things are just a misunderstanding. They walk around with a childlike optimism, assuming if they're nice to others, everything will work out. Think of that coworker who still believes HR is on their side. Their biggest desire? Safety. They want a world where things are predictable, kind, and fair. Their worst fear? Corruption and betrayal. The moment they realize life isn't a Disney movie, they either double down on denial or have a complete existential crisis. You'll recognize them because they're the ones posting motivational quotes with stock images of beaches. They avoid conflict like it's a disease. And their go-to response to chaos is, let's all just get along. They trust authority, follow the rules, and think if you're struggling, you just need to stay positive. At best, they'll bring warmth and hope. At worst, they're so naive they get scammed into buying NFTs of cartoon ducks. They mean well, but put them in charge and they'll get eaten alive. The ruler. The ruler is that person who has to be in charge. Not because they're power hungry, okay, maybe a little, but because deep down they genuinely believe things fall apart without them. And honestly, sometimes they're right. They can't stand chaos. Unclear plans, vague instructions, flaky people, it all makes their skin crawl. So instead of waiting for someone else to step up, they just take the wheel. Whether it's running a business, planning a vacation, or organizing a friend's wedding because no one else was doing it right, they become the leader. They want things done properly, efficiently, and preferably their way. What they crave is stability, structure, control. What they can't stand? Feeling powerless, or worse, having to depend on someone who doesn't know what they're doing. At their best, they bring direction. They get shit done, and people trust them. At their worst, they turn into control freaks, barking orders over stuff that really doesn't matter. You might love them or hate them, but if you're on their team, you're going to be on a schedule. They don't ask, who's in charge? They just start acting like it, and everyone else eventually goes along. The creator. The creator is that person who can't not make stuff. Their brain's always running, coming up with ideas, fixing things that aren't broken, or imagining how something could have been done way cooler. They look at the world and think, I could have made a better version. They're the ones sketching during meetings, rewriting movie endings in their head, or building some weird side project nobody asked for, but it's kinda genius. If they had unlimited time and money, they wouldn't retire. They just make all the crazy stuff they've been thinking about. Their motto, if it can be imagined, it can be created. They usually end up in creative fields: writing, art, design, architecture, film, startups. Anywhere they don't feel boxed in. If they're stuck in a regular job, they're either quietly dying or spending company time working on their passion project. What do they want? To make something real that actually means something. What freaks them out? Being basic. If you tell them their idea isn't original, congrats, you've ruined their week. At their best, they bring fresh ideas to the table. At their worst, they overthink everything and never finish. But when they do finish, it's usually pretty damn cool. The passive-aggressive. Oh, don't worry about me. I'll just sit here freezing because someone forgot to close the window. But it's fine, really. These people are masters of fake politeness, hiding their frustrations in coded messages instead of being direct. They enjoy making you confused, guilty, or both. Their signature move is silent treatment mixed with guilt tripping. The trick? Just shut them down with, "And how about you close the window yourself, then open the door and leave?" The narcissist. Honestly, I don't like to brag, but this company and, let's face it, your life wouldn't be the same without me. Oh yeah? You've definitely made it more exhausting, Chad. Narcissists are their own biggest fans, demanding admiration more than your dog demands a piece of that barbecue. They live for compliments, yet struggle to give a single genuine one in return. Their favorite hobby? Making everything about them. It's best not to compete for their spotlight. It's exhausting and pointless. You're honestly better off watching paint dry. They'll eventually find a new audience, most likely in the mirror maze. The gossip. Did you hear what he said in that meeting? And that thing about Linda? Yeah, really terrible. Ugh. These gossipers love secrets and rumors. They spread drama like wildfire to keep themselves entertained. They'll happily spill anyone's tea. But there's a golden rule to remember. If they gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. End it like a boss. Say, "Look, I would rather listen to dial-up internet than your nonsense." And walk away. So smooth. The manipulator. Oh, you're really not gonna help me move? Guess I'll just do it all alone and hurt my back again. Manipulators excel at making their problems feel like your fault. They'll twist situations to guilt you into doing what they want. And their vulnerability? Often just a way to disguise their selfishness. Their secret weapon is making you feel like the villain for saying no. Time to turn things around and stand your ground. Oh, that sounds really tough. Maybe you should hire movers. The criticizer. Wow, you cooked this? Interesting choice. Maybe next time try adding some soy sauce. Criticizers love to disguise their constant negativity as helpful advice, but it's really just a way to make you doubt yourself. Whether it's your style, career, or cooking skills, nothing is ever good enough for them. But here's the thing. Their criticism says more about them than you. Next time, hit them with, "Thanks for the tip, but don't worry, you won't be here next time." Watching them process that is pure gold. The jealous one. Congrats on the promotion. Now you're making more than me. These people are who can't celebrate your success without turning it into a competition, or worse, belittling your achievements. Whether it's a sneaky comment or open hostility, they can't hide their envy. Don't be afraid to strike back, but do it with grace. Thanks. Hard work really does pay off, doesn't it? Mic drop. The exploder. What do you mean the Wi-Fi is slow? I can't work like this. Exploders treat every minor inconvenience like the end of the world. One moment, everything's fine. The next, they're yelling at the toaster for burning their bread. These constant outbursts leave everyone tiptoeing around them, scared of triggering another meltdown. The best defense? Don't engage. If you've had enough, you can hit them with, "Let me know when you're done auditioning for the drama club." The drama magnet. Can you believe Karen said that about me? And then my phone died right before I got stuck in traffic. Wow, I'm surprised there's no alien abduction included. Drama magnets live for chaos. They crave your attention so they can pull you into their never-ending mess. If there's no drama, don't worry, they'll make some up. Being around them is like being stuck in a never-ending soap opera. The best approach is to stop feeding their drama. Just respond with, "Oh, wow, sounds terrible, but you'll figure it out." Don't forget to add a slight smile. They'll quickly move on to their next victim. The fake friend. "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you." "Thanks. That was faker than a $3 bill." These friends are all smiles at the bar and all whispers behind your back. They pretend to cheer you on while secretly looking for ways to bring you down. The red flag? They love to gossip about others because one day it'll be about you. Test them by sharing harmless secrets and seeing if they spread. The victim. "Why does this always happen to me? My boss hates me, my coffee's cold, and my cat looks more like a hamster." No matter what, everything happens to them, never because of them. Victims are really talented at dodging responsibility. Every problem in their life is someone else's fault, and they'll happily make you listen to their constant whining. After a while, you might even feel guilty for their failures. Don't fall for it. Instead, hand them the metaphorical mirror. See the positive side. At least you have 2 pets in one. Yeah, the power of perspective, right? The gaslighter. "I never promised to pick you up. Are you sure you didn't just make that up?" Gaslighters are experts at rewriting reality, planting seeds of doubt until you start questioning your own memory. Today, it's a forgotten dinner plan. Tomorrow, you're wondering if the sky is really blue. Their mind games are exhausting, dangerous, and take a real toll on you. The solution? Shut the door right in front of their face, if possible. If not, then keep receipts, literally. Whether it's texts or emails, having proof takes their power away. When they try to twist the truth, just say, "Actually, here's what happened. Look at this." Busted. The user. "Hey, can I borrow your car? Oh, and by the way, what's your Netflix password? You're the best." "Yeah, sure, here, you also have my wallet, my girlfriend, and the keys to my house." Like, what do people expect sometimes? Users treat relationships like vending machines. They're there to take, and then take some more. Don't expect gratitude or anything in return. They're only here for their own gain. The moment you're not useful, not a single word from them. The solution is simple. Cut them off completely if possible. If not, hit them with, "All right, what's your offer?" The me charity is officially closed. Watch their interest in you evaporate faster than free pizza at a college party. The control freak. Actually, the spoons go this way in the drawer. This one is a tough one. Control freaks micromanage every aspect of life, convinced their way is the only way. Whether it's planning a party or folding your laundry, they have an opinion and an instruction manual for everything. Their need for control is overwhelming and leaves you questioning every choice you make. The best way to handle them? Set boundaries early. "Thanks for the advice, but I'll survive without your instruction manual." Oh yeah. The energy vampire. Oh my god, today was the worst. My life is falling apart and nobody understands how hard I have it. What's so catastrophic again, Oliver? Last week it was waiting for the next Squid Game season, and now I guess they closed your favorite Starbucks? Energy vampires suck the life out of you with their constant negativity, draining the joy from every interaction. Conversations with them feel like running a marathon uphill, with weights tied to your ankles. The only fix? "I'm sorry you keep feeling this way, but I can't talk about it right now." Translation: your circus, your monkeys. Keep me out of it. The liar. "I swear I was homesick." "Oh, you saw me at the game?" I just stepped out for some fresh air." Fresh air in a hockey arena. Sure. Liars live in a world where the truth doesn't matter, twisting facts to fit their needs. They tell small lies to dodge blame and big ones to manipulate. But they have one weakness. They're awful at keeping their story straight. Try to catch them sometime. "Oh, is that your story? Cute. Here's what I saw." It's actually fun. The attention seeker. Oh my, everyone, listen to this wild story about what happened to me this morning. You won't believe it. I already see it coming, Jackie. You met a Taylor Swift lookalike on the subway for like the third time this month. Attention seekers are like human fireworks. Loud, flashy, and always needing to be the center of attention. They'll hijack conversations, stretch the truth, or even make up drama just to keep all eyes on them. It's exhausting. Don't feed their need for attention. Just say, "Wow, such a cool story," and change the subject. Or duct tape their mouth. The know-it-all. Well, actually, that's not how it works. Yep, exactly the moment you're holding yourself back from slapping someone. Know-it-alls dominate conversations with advice no one asked for, and corrections, even when they have no clue what they're talking about. They'll argue over the smallest details, fully convinced they're the smartest person in the room. The irony? They almost never admit when they're wrong. If you want to save your sanity, just say, "Interesting point. I'll look into it." Translation, my hand is literally shaking. They'll either back off or dive into another lecture. Good luck to them. The hypocrite. You should really be more organized, says the person whose room looks like it got raided by a SWAT team. These people love preaching rules they have no plans to follow. They'll criticize your behavior while completely ignoring their own flaws, living by the motto, "Do as I say, not as I do." Arguing is pointless. They'll just dodge the topic. Simply say, "Great advice. I'll remember that next time you leave the dishes on the table." If that doesn't shut them up for a while, nothing ever will. The overly competitive. "Oh, you ran 3 miles? That's cute. I did 6 last week and then read all 10 Harry Potter books." Isn't there just 7 of them? Well, I read even the 3 that don't exist. You get the point. Overly competitive types turn everything into a contest, even when there's no prize. They'll try to outdo your achievements, exaggerate their struggles, and celebrate your failures, because it's all about winning. There's not much more you can do than simply laugh it off. You know, not everyone has to be as perfect as you. The clingy one. "Hey, what are you doing? Can I come too? Want to hang out later? How about now?" These people stick to you like super glue. Always there, no escape. They mean well, but their constant need for attention and validation feels like carrying around a backpack full of bricks. They'll make you feel bad for needing space, interpreting me time as "you hate me." To handle them, set boundaries as early as possible. "Look, Bob, you're a good guy, but I need some alone time too." If they don't get it, maybe switch to communicating via smoke signals. The martyr. Martyrs and victims may seem similar. They both love making others feel guilty. But here's the difference. Martyrs don't blame the world for their problems. Instead, they turn their sacrifices into guilt trips. It's not about what's been done to them. It's about everything they've supposedly done for you. They'll clean the whole house, then loudly complain about how nobody ever helps. The goal? To make you feel terrible for not helping out or praising them. Next time they start, turn it around. "Wow, that sounds exhausting. Why don't you take a break?" It won't stop them, but you'll get a front row seat to their dramatic sighs. Grab the popcorn. The chronic complainer. This sandwich is too dry. The music is too loud, and it's Tuesday. Chronic complainers are human storm clouds, spreading negativity everywhere they go. Nothing is ever good enough for them, and they want you to join in their never-ending complaining. They'll sigh dramatically, waiting for you to ask, "What's wrong now?" Pro tip, don't. The opportunist. "Hey, bestie, can you introduce me to your boss? Maybe at that event you mentioned?" Sounds a lot like the user, right? Not quite. While users focus on personal favors, like borrowing your car or Netflix account, opportunists aim for bigger prizes. Your network, your status, or access to what you can offer professionally. To them, you're just a ladder they'll climb to get higher. The guilt tripper. "Oh, so you're too busy to call your poor old friend anymore. I see." Annoying. I don't get many calls from old friends, but when I do, it's either a guilt tripper or someone trying to lure me into some extremely good investment. Guilt trippers are masters at making you feel bad for prioritizing yourself. They'll play on your emotions to get their way. Don't fall for it. Hit them with, check your ID. You're too old for this kindergarten manipulation. Dream wrecker. Why even bother? You're just gonna fail anyways. Wow, thanks for the motivation. You've definitely met someone who always lists every possible way something won't work. It's best to distance yourself from them as they drain your energy and excitement. They see problems everywhere but offer zero solutions. Your dreams don't need their permission. Their life is sad. Send them a postcard from your next vacation. The underminer. That's an interesting idea. Are you sure it'll work? Well, I was. Underminers love planting seeds of doubt in your mind with their sneaky comments. They'll pretend to support you while quietly poking holes in everything you say, leaving you unsure of yourself. It simply makes them feel superior. Shut them down hard. Don't worry, I've got this. How about you? Did you finally get your life together? The enabler. Oh, you know how Kevin is. It's just his way of doing things. Enablers are a special kind of toxic. They don't cause the drama, but they defend and excuse the toxic behavior of others, often just to avoid conflict or keep the peace. They'll say things like, "It's not a big deal," or "He didn't mean it," letting the problem grow instead of addressing it. Well, let's see how not a big deal feels when Kevin's behavior turns on them. The boundary pusher. Oh, come on, just one more drink. Don't be boring. We've all been like that at times, right? But for some people, this is just their default. They treat your no as a challenge, not an answer to respect. They'll push you until you give in, all while acting like you're the problem for saying no. Their goal is to make what they want seem more important than how you feel. The best approach? Stand your ground and say, "I said no, and I mean it." They might call you boring, but boring beats being manipulated, and you'll likely earn their respect. The loud chewer. You hear them before you see them. Crunch, slurp, smack. It doesn't matter what they're eating. They somehow turn every meal into a surround sound experience. Sharing a meal with them feels like dining at a construction site. You'd think they were eating gravel, not chips. And don't even get me started on gum chewers who pop bubbles like they're auditioning for a 90s sitcom. You'd offer them quieter food, but they'd probably manage to make yogurt sound crunchy. Honestly, just eat beforehand. Alone. The self-appointed DJ. Nobody asked, but they've hijacked your CarPlay anyway. Wait, let me play this one. It always gets me pumped. It's their music, their playlist, and their rules. You'll be halfway through your favorite song and they skip it with, "Too old, this one's better." Even worse, they'll make you listen to obscure tracks, pausing every 5 seconds to ask, "What do you think? What do you think?" Honestly, next time they take over, just pull over, unlock the car, and let them enjoy a walking workout instead. The group chat abuser. They send 25 messages in a row, each one a single sentence. "Hi, how are you? Did you see the meme?" They'll also text LOL 5 minutes after a joke that wasn't even funny. And when the group is silent, they'll revive it with random thoughts nobody asked for. You mute the chat, but somehow their messages still find you. Worse, they send you YouTube shorts without context, or audio that autoplays at max volume. At this point, even your phone wants to file a restraining order. The over-explainer. Actually, the sky isn't blue. It's a result of Rayleigh scattering caused by shorter wavelengths of light. Ugh, I just said it was a nice day. This person can't stop turning casual chats into a TED Talk. They'll explain the physics of toast while you're just trying to butter it. Even their fun facts feel like pub quizzes, and you didn't even study. The worst part? They assume you care. By the time they're done explaining, you've lost interest in the weather, the conversation, and maybe your will to live. Next time they start, just interrupt with, "Wow, you should start a podcast," and walk away before they explain what a podcast is. The humble bragger. Ugh, I'm so stressed. I just got another raise at work, and now I don't know what to do with all this extra money. They disguise their bragging as complaints, but we all know what they're doing. Whether it's their unexpected weight loss or their so exhausting vacation to Bali, Everything is a humble brag wrapped in fake modesty. Even their "I'm just like you" stories are full of superiority. It's like they want sympathy for their success. Next time, respond with, "Wow, must be tough being so amazing. Do you need help carrying all that greatness?" The birthday countdown person. Their birthday is 6 months away, but they're already acting like it's tomorrow. Save the date. They've planned 3 different parties, a weekend getaway, and a themed photo shoot, all for themselves. They'll remind you constantly, dropping hints like, "Can't wait to see what you're getting me." By the time the actual day arrives, you're so over it that you might forget to even say happy birthday. These people treat their birthday like it's a national holiday. The oversharer. So I had this rash last week and I just, whoa, stop. This person treats every conversation like it's their personal diary, and you're the unlucky reader. No detail is too intimate, no moment too private. From graphic medical updates to way too much info about their last Taco Bell visit, they'll tell you things that make you regret ever asking, "How are you?" You didn't ask, but now you're stuck with details that'll replay in your head at 3 a.m. for no good reason. The worst part? They never pick up on the awkward silence. The overpacker. You're heading out for a weekend trip, and they show up with 3 suitcases, a carry-on, and a just-in-case shovel. You never know what you might need. Yeah, you definitely don't need 6 pairs of shoes for 2 days. They act like they're moving to another continent, and by the time they finished unpacking at the B&B, the trip's basically over. The worst part? You'll end up helping them carry it all. The 5 minutes away. I'm 5 minutes away. Translation? I haven't made it out of the bed. This person has never been on time for anything in their life. Dinner plans? Late. Movie night? Missed the trailers. Their own birthday party? Still on their way. They always blame traffic, the weather, or their alarm clock, but the real problem is somewhere else. The one-upper. "Hey, you won't believe this, I just got promoted." "Oh, congrats, I actually got 2 promotions last month." "Sure, I forgot your company hands them out for just showing up." This person hears your achievements as a challenge. You climbed up a mountain, they climbed Everest twice with no shoes. They live in a constant game of who's more impressive, and you're the unwilling participant. Even when you try to talk to them about your bad day, they'll one-up you there too. "Oh, you think that's bad? Let me tell you about my disaster." The worst part? They don't realize how annoying they are. The overly literal person. I am so hungry I could eat a hippo. Technically, hippos aren't edible. This person takes every joke, metaphor, or exaggeration and kills it with unnecessary facts. You make a lighthearted comment, and they launch into a lecture about why you're wrong. It's like sarcasm and fun are foreign concepts to them. Even worse, they genuinely think they're doing you a favor by correcting you. Honestly, if they heard "it's raining cats and dogs," they'd probably call animal control. The loud typer. They don't type, they attack the keyboard. Whether it's sending an email or jotting down a grocery list, every keystroke sounds like a construction project. You'd think they were typing with a sledgehammer. When you politely ask, "Can you type a little quieter?" they hit you with, "Oh, sorry, I didn't even notice." "Yeah, we noticed, and your keyboard needs a life insurance policy." The interrupter. And then I said, "Oh my, that reminds me of..." You barely finish a sentence before they jump in with their story. It's like they're allergic to silence. That 1 second when you needed to breathe in. Every conversation becomes their stage, and you're just the background noise. The irony? They'd hate being interrupted themselves. You could be sharing your deepest secret, and they'll suddenly cut in with, "That reminds me of this one time in Nashville." Honestly, you could faint mid-sentence, and they'd still find a way to interrupt. The pessimist. What a beautiful day. Yeah, but it'll probably rain later. This person is a human rain cloud. They could win the lottery and complain about the taxes. Nothing is ever good enough, and if it is good, they'll find a way to ruin it. They're like a party pooper at a wedding, pointing out how expensive the cake probably was. Talking to them feels like trying to start a Windows Vista. It's pointless, draining, and makes you want to throw the whole thing away. The clueless texter. They either text back after 3 days with a single K or bombard you with 10 messages in a row. Worse, they'll ghost you mid-conversation, only to post a meme 5 minutes later. It's like texting a magic 8-ball, unpredictable and mildly annoying. And when you call them out, they hit you with, "Sorry, I'm just bad at texting." Translation, "I just don't care." Next time, reply with, "Sorry, I thought I texted back too. Guess we're even." Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Definitely. The wannabe influencer. Every moment with them is a potential post. They can't enjoy a meal, a sunset, or even watching YouTube without pulling out their phone. "Wait, I'll just take a pic." They'll make you retake photos 12 times before the lighting's perfect. The saddest part, their followers are mostly bots and their mom. You want to tell them to live in the moment, but honestly, it's easier to photobomb them with your best annoyed face. Who knows? Maybe it'll go viral. The control freak. Ugh, how many times have I told you? Ketchup goes in the cupboard, not the fridge. They micromanage everything from the way you park to how you fold your laundry. They'll helpfully point out how you're doing it wrong, even if it's perfectly fine. It's not about efficiency, it's about their way being the only way. The worst part, they'll redo things right in front of you. And what about you? Are you team fridge ketchup or cupboard ketchup? The overly nostalgic. Things were so much better back in the day. We get it, but nobody wants to go back to dial-up internet or VHS tapes, even though those were really special. They romanticize the past like it was perfect, conveniently forgetting all the things that made it terrible. And don't even get them started on kids these days. Just hit them with, "The good old days called." They want all their complaints back. Then ask them how much they miss waiting 3 hours to download one song. The constant social media tagger. Your notifications are blowing up again. Why? Because they've tagged you in everything. Memes, random videos, funny posts that don't even make sense. Why am I tagged in 10 signs you're toxic? It's like they've made it their mission to keep you glued to your phone. Even worse, they'll expect a reply or reaction to every tag. At this point, even the spam emails are starting to feel less annoying. The forgetful one. Wait, was that today? They cancel plans last minute, double book themselves, or completely ghost you because they forgot. They'll swear they're sorry and promise to make it up to you, but next time, same story. You've rearranged your whole day for them, but they've already moved on to something else. The worst part? Their apology is so heartfelt that you almost forgive them, until they do it again. The space invader. They have zero concept of personal space. Whether they're leaning over your shoulder at work, standing inches from your face while talking, or sitting way too close on the couch, they have no idea how uncomfortable they're making you. The worst part? They don't notice your subtle hints to back off. You could be visibly stepping away, and they'll just follow. Next time, try coughing dramatically or pretending to take a phone call. Anything to escape. The unsolicited advisor. You casually mention a problem, and suddenly they're a life coach. You know what you should do? Nobody asked, but that won't stop them from giving you a 5-step solution they're sure will fix everything. The worst part? Their advice is often useless or wildly unrealistic. You're just venting, not opening the door for a motivational seminar. The backhanded complimenter. Wow, that's a bold choice for a haircut. Thanks, I think. This person has mastered the art of insulting you while pretending to be nice. Every compliment comes with a side of shade. You're so brave to wear that. Brave? For a sweater? It's like they're trying to be sweet but end up spilling salt all over. The "I'm fine" person. You ask, "What's wrong?" and they reply, "I'm fine." But their tone screams the opposite. Then comes the pouting, sighing, and silent treatment until you're practically begging to know what's wrong. It's like solving a puzzle where half the pieces are missing. And when they finally tell you, it's usually something ridiculously small. If they won't communicate, just say, Great, glad you're fine, and walk away. The overly enthusiastic early bird. They wake up at 5 a.m. and act like it's their whole personality. By the time you've hit snooze half asleep, they've already ran 5 miles, done yoga, and sent good morning texts to everyone they know. The worst part? They expect you to match their energy. If you don't reply immediately, they'll follow up with, "Still sleeping? Yes, I'm sleeping. It's 5 a.m. Someone needs to tell them mornings don't count until the sun's fully awake too. The chronic forwarder. Your inbox is their dumping ground. Mediocre memes, chain emails, conspiracy theories, they send it all. They'll message you with, "LOL, isn't this so you?" followed by a video so dull it feels like a personality insult. Even worse, they'll still send those "forward this to 10 friends or else" messages like it's 2009. Your phone buzzes constantly and it's always them. By the time you're done deleting their nonsense, you're left questioning why you're still friends. The one-sided friend. You call to talk about your bad day, but within 5 minutes, the conversation shifts to their trip to Walmart. "Oh no, that sounds rough, Matt. But let me tell you about this amazing deal I got for sausages at Walmart." It's like being friends with a mirror. Everything reflects back to them. Even when you need support, they'll somehow make it about themselves. Eventually, you stop sharing, and they don't even notice. The close talker. Personal space? Never heard of it. This person loves to have conversations inches from your face. You can practically feel their breath while they discuss their morning coffee. The closer they get, the more you back up until you're pressed against a wall or walking into traffic. If you're lucky, they've had a mint recently. If not, you'll be haunted by the ghost of garlic bread. Erikson tried to simplify human behavior into just 4 categories, each represented by a color: red, yellow, green, blue. These stand for 4 personality types. Red people are bold, direct, and like to be in charge. They make decisions fast and focus on getting things done. Yellow people are full of energy, talkative, and fun to be around. They love new ideas but can get distracted easily. Green people are calm, patient, and supportive. They avoid conflicts and work hard to keep everyone happy. Blue people are logical, careful, and detail-oriented. They like things to be well planned, but can sometimes seem cold or overly critical. However, what's fascinating is that most of us don't simply fit into just one of these categories. We're a blend of them, and that's where things get really interesting. Let's dive into each color. By the end of this, you'll not only be able to identify your own dominant color, but you'll also know exactly how to deal with that annoying coworker, frustrating family member, or even your partner. Sounds good? All right, let's start with red. The red personality. You're in a meeting. Everyone's discussing ideas, but there's one person who's already made up their mind. "We will do it my way, now." They've got a plan. They're in charge and they don't want to waste any time. That's a classic red personality. It's not difficult to spot them as they don't even try hiding who they are. Does that sound like you? If yes, then you are very driven and dynamic. When someone gives you a specific question, you answer honestly and say what you think. You are very ambitious and set big goals. You believe that you can achieve anything if you work hard enough. People who have a lot of red in them live by one simple mantra: results, results, results. Time is their currency and they don't like spending it on endless discussions. They are very task-oriented and enjoy challenges. They make quick decisions and feel comfortable taking the lead with all the risks. As you could perhaps tell, the Reds like competing. When there is something to be won, they're in. Sometimes the competition only exists in their mind. In the book, there's even a story about a guy whose wife had to ban him from playing memory cards with his kids, as he was way too competitive. Their biggest strength is definitely that they get things done. They're the ones pushing projects forward, setting goals, and hitting deadlines. Think of them as the CEO of their own lives. They're efficient, they're confident, and when the stakes are high, they're the ones you want to be in charge. But of course, there's always the other side of them. Understand this, and you will know how to get along with them. Reds can come off as aggressive, even bossy. They don't always have time for feelings or polite small talk. and this can lead to clashes, especially with more sensitive types. So, how do you deal with a red? Easy. Don't waste their time. Be direct, be concise, and most importantly, focus on results. You'll win their respect that way. Now, let's see how reds match with the yellows. The yellow personality. If you've ever met someone who lights up a room the moment they walk in, chances are you've encountered a yellow personality. These people are like human sunshine. They're enthusiastic, full of energy, and incredibly optimistic. They live life to live it. Yellows always look for opportunities to enjoy their life. Laughter is their gasoline. They see the sun even where others see dark clouds. Most likely, you've been at a party or some gathering where many people stood around one person, and that person is very likely to have been a yellow personality. They are ready to entertain anyone and lift up the atmosphere. The yellows might be more popular than the other colors. People usually enjoy being around them. They put people in good moods. They know how to get people's attention and usually are great storytellers. While talking, the yellows usually use a lot of gestures. They also know how to persuade others. Just like the reds, the yellows like making quick decisions. However, they often don't know what they base it on. It just felt right. If this sounds like you, then you would most likely describe yourself as open, optimistic, and easygoing person. You're also quite spontaneous and creative. And what about your strengths? As we just found out, yellows are fantastic communicators. They have contagious energy that makes people want to follow them. They're creative, inspiring, and love brainstorming. It's easy for yellows to make friends. But here's where things get tricky. While yellows are great at starting things, they're not always the best at finishing them. They can easily get distracted, bouncing from one idea to the next, leaving a trail of unfinished projects behind them. Yeah, the reds can have a hard time with the yellow's lack of focus. So how do you handle a yellow personality? Keep things fun and exciting. Engage them with new ideas. Let them brainstorm, but gently nudge them towards finishing what they start. And if you're a red dealing with a yellow, well, you'll need a little patience. But trust me, their creativity is worth it. To perform at their best, they also need the full team to function smoothly. Well-functioning relationships are very important to yellows. But what happens when you pair a yellow with a green personality? One's full of energy. The other craves peace. Can they work together, or is this a recipe for disaster? The green personality. And here comes the most common personality, the green. You will meet them basically everywhere. Thomas describes them as the average of all other colors. The greens are the most balanced. If red is the hardworking leader, yellow the energetic creative, the blue the perfectionist, the green is the person quietly making sure everything runs smoothly in the background. They are calm, supportive, and loyal. A green would, for example, never forget your birthday. They do not seek the spotlight, and they will also not try to outdo you or see you as competition. They usually try to fit in and don't want to offend anyone. Avoiding conflicts is important for them. The greens are easy to deal with. They let you be yourself and don't demand much. What you can also expect from them is a helping hand. All this makes them great team players. Their greatest strength lies in their dependability. They're the ones who will stick with a project to the end, even when everyone else got tired with it. If they said they will do something, you can be sure it will get done. They're also great listeners and are very friendly. The greens can be described as stable, predictable, calm, and patient. But as mentioned, they hate conflict. They'll do anything to avoid it, which means they can sometimes be seen as passive or indecisive. This can make it challenging when they're paired with a red who's all about quick decisions and actions. Reds might get frustrated with green's relaxed approach, thinking they're too slow or too cautious. On the other hand, they're a reliable team player, which the reds definitely appreciate. Greens can work well with yellows as they complement each other. Yellows bring creativity and energy, and greens stability and calm. However, they can sometimes get overwhelmed with yellow's fast pace. But how do they get along with blues? That we will take a look at in a few moments. Dealing with a green is simple. Give them time. Don't push them into decisions too quickly. Greens like to feel comfortable and secure before they act, and they appreciate when you respect their need for calm. If you can create a peaceful environment for them, they'll reward you with loyalty and hard work. Now, to the blues. The blue personality. Last but not least are the blues. They are thinkers, the analysts, the detail-oriented planners who need logic and structure in their life. When you visit a blues home, you notice how everything is organized in a certain way. I would not be surprised if you found a dinner menu for each day written on a board and labels where things belong. And if you called their sofa red, they would tell you it's not quite accurate, that the sofa is burgundy. As you can see, the blue people are very accurate and detail-oriented. They are also very logical and methodical. They don't seek much attention, nor do they want to be praised for their achievements. A typical blue would tell you, "I was just doing my job." If you are a blue person yourself, or if you know one, then let them check some important documents for you, because they are extremely detail-oriented. Often, the written word has more value than the spoken one for them. One could even say that they prefer written words due to their introversion. There are many strengths the blues have. They are precise, organized, and incredibly thorough. They do not miss a thing. They're the kind of people who'll create the most detailed project plan, anticipate every possible obstacle, and come up with solutions before problems even arise. Blues value accuracy, and they're excellent problem solvers. But this also has a flip side. Blues are perfectionists. They sometimes get stuck in analysis paralysis, where they're so focused on getting everything perfect that they struggle to make decisions. Reds are gonna find this incredibly frustrating. Reds push for quick actions and results, while blues need more time to ensure everything is done properly. However, reds do respect the accuracy and reliability that blues bring once the job is complete. With yellows, the dynamic can feel chaotic for blues. They might see yellows as disorganized, while yellows could find blues too serious. Yet, they complement each other when blues' structure brings clarity to yellow's creativity. Blues might find it calmer and harmonious to work with the greens. When handling blues, be prepared. If you're going to present something to a blue, make sure you have your facts straight. They love data, they love logic, and they'll appreciate it when you take the time to get things right. But if you're someone who's more spontaneous, like a yellow, working with a blue might take a little adjustment. Your superpower. Now that you're familiar with all four personality types, it's time to discover a superpower you can unlock, and that's knowing how to communicate and interact with each type. The reds usually keep their distance from others. They will greet you with a powerful handshake rather than a big hug. Don't be surprised if they aggressively lean towards you or others when defending their point in a debate. A red person will not hesitate to interrupt you during a conversation. Therefore, do not complicate your life when talking to them. Be straightforward. They will appreciate it if you get straight to the point without any unnecessary details. You will get their attention if you focus on results and how to get them. We can achieve X by doing Y. This sounds like a dream to them. They will be more receptive to your ideas if you show them that you respect their time. The yellows, on the other hand, get closer to you. From them, you can expect more gestures and jokes. They often maintain friendly eye contact and like to keep the conversation relaxed. You can easily spot when a yellow feels secure in a situation. They become an open book. When you interact with them, make sure you keep the conversation lively. They will appreciate it if you let them express their creativity. For example, by letting them brainstorm. Use an energetic tone and respond positively to their suggestions. This is a great idea. How can we work further on it? The greens are also relaxed, and you can expect them to come closer to you. They use friendly eye contact and prefer rather small gestures. However, a green person will often try to hide their true feelings, but they won't always succeed. If they're uncomfortable, you will most likely notice it. They like physical touch. However, be careful when touching a green that has not given you a clear sign. They can be protective of their personal space. They value trust, so make sure you create a safe space for a dialogue. When talking to a green, emphasize collaboration and try to understand their concerns and feelings. Avoid rushing them into decisions and use gentle language. Let's work together to find a solution that everyone feels comfortable with. They will respect you if you show them that you value them and want to cooperate. The blues, on the other hand, like to keep others at a distance. You can often notice that they have a closed body language. They use direct eye contact and usually speak without gestures. It is also quite rare to see a blue person express their emotions. They will definitely appreciate it if you give them more personal space. When talking to a blue, try to be structured and speak facts. They like detailed and organized information backed up with data. Don't try to rush them. Give them time to analyze and process the information. They will value you for providing them with accurate data and respect their analytical nature. To learn about the worst red flags, watch the video on the left side of your screen. To discover how people manipulate you with sneaky tricks, watch the one on the right. My name is Matt, and I thank you for watching.